Have you ever been a part of a nonprofit board meeting that left you confused or exhausted or uninspired? What about a meeting that left you excited and inspired and ready for action? Leading effective nonprofit board meetings can take a bit of practice. So in this video, I wanted to share some of the strategies that I've tried out over the years with the help of some amazing board leaders, of course, to ensure that board meetings stay focused and relevant and leave people feeling ready for action after the meeting to help your organization thrive. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Amber Melanie Smith. I am a nonprofit founder and executive director. I make these videos here on YouTube to help others on their nonprofit journey or other type of social impact journey. Don't forget to give this video a like if you find it helpful and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And of course, if you're looking for additional resources or training for how to start a nonprofit, check out my website, foundertofulltime.com. It took a few years, lots of helpful feedback from board members, and a lot of trial and error. But now I go into my nonprofit organization's board meetings excited, ready to share ideas, ready to discuss important topics, and make some really critical decisions for the health and well-being of our organization and its mission in the future. So without further ado, here are 7 tips to run effective nonprofit board meetings. Tip number 1 is to create structure by creating a written meeting agenda. And on this agenda, you of course list everything that you need to talk about during the meeting, but you can also structure the meeting by putting blocks of time to make sure that the meeting stays focused and that topics flow in a timely manner. You can also put the names of the different board members who will be presenting during each section of the meeting too, to keep things organized. Tip number 2. Get inspired with your team by helping everyone remember why they are there in the first place. At the beginning of each board meeting, I advise that you talk about your organization's mission statement and your vision. Recite it. Make sure people are discussing it and what it means to them personally. It's also a great idea to share a success story, something recent that happened with your organization and its programs that made a difference in the community. This really reinforces why everyone is there and gets them excited about the work they're about to do. Tip number 3 is something I alluded to a little bit ago, and that was to include everyone. Make sure that everyone can own a piece of the agenda and is invited to speak or present something for the board meeting. If you can do this, you'll also have 2 pretty awesome consequences. The first being that everyone will feel included, and that's just a critical part of working well together as a team. And the second consequence is that people will come to the board meeting a lot more prepared because they know that they will be expected to speak. The same as when a student is having to give their book report the very next day, they're gonna do that book report. Number 4 is a really important tip, and I can say that I have personally experienced not doing this tip well, and that is you've got to stay on time and start on time and end on time for your meetings. Starting on time and ending on time sends the message that you respect your board members' time, and it also means that you're able to manage the topics you have to discuss in an efficient way. If you find that this is a challenge or hard to do for your organization, then assign keeping time to someone at the meeting. Make it their job to keep everyone on time, on track, and focused. This will also make sure that everyone has a chance to speak and no one feels left out too. Tip number 5 might seem like a no-brainer, but I have seen people get confused and then make a decision they didn't intend to make before, so I will say this is an important one, and that is to, when you are presenting a vote for your board of directors, to make sure that what people are actually voting on is extremely clear and specific. And of course, you want your board members to be able to make sound and informed decisions about things happening in the organization, so this is really important. If you are going to have a meeting where you're expecting to vote on something like a budget item or a policy change or policy creation, then what you can do is prepare in advance by making sure that you have all of the details clearly laid out in written form. Share it in advance, allow your board members the opportunity to review it and ask any questions or note any questions that they plan to ask at the board meeting. Review that presentation of the details at the meeting, make sure no one has any questions at the meeting once again, and then have someone call for a vote. The sixth tip can really improve morale, and that is to end the meeting on a positive note. We talked about giving everyone a chance to speak during the meeting, but sometimes, depending on the size of your board or the structure of your meetings, that might not be possible. So if you give people an opportunity at the very end of your meeting to share one final thought, then they will at least get that chance to speak then. And it also ends the meeting on a positive note where everyone has been able to reflect on the experience of the board meeting and hopefully get motivated to take their piece of what they need to do next and run with it. And the final and seventh tip I will share with you for running effective nonprofit board meetings is something that doesn't happen at the board meeting at all, but actually happens after the board meeting, and that is to follow up very quickly, within a day or two max. And when I say follow up, what I mean is that the leader, this could be either the founder or a board chair or someone on your executive committee, needs to follow up with the whole board about any action items or deadlines that are coming up that board members need to remember and be aware of and stay on top of. Board members are amazing volunteers who give a lot of time and talents to nonprofits. So they have busy lives. Not everything is always so easy to remember on our massive to-do lists as human beings. So having a leader who can follow up and make sure everyone is clear on their expectations and what they need to do next and by when is a really important step to keep everyone moving forward. Let's hear from you. Have you experienced or even led a nonprofit board meeting that left you inspired? I would love to hear about it. Share in the comments below. And as I mentioned before, if you need some help getting started with your nonprofit, don't hesitate to check out my website, foundertofulltime.com, where I've got resources and training for people starting up. You can also check out my newsletter and subscribe to that. I'll leave the link in the description, but I send out a regular newsletter to nonprofit leaders and other types of change makers with news and resources and sometimes even funding opportunities that can really help your organizations or your social impact projects out. So definitely subscribe to that. One last thought, if you are on Facebook, perhaps you know what I am about to say if you've seen my videos before, but definitely check out my group, Change the World or Bust. We have folks in there from all over the world coming together to discuss their social impact work and encourage each other along the way. That's it. I hope that this video was helpful. Please please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to do that and to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.